So starting from CT side over here, if you're playing on CT, on A I always get smoked out in ticket and CT. On B as T entrances, and on B as T entrances almost always fuck me. Okay. Um, so I don't really like playing ticket. I know a lot of people play here, and you'll see me here occasionally. Not a huge fan of it personally. Where I like to play is sometimes you'll see me here. This is kind of like a fun, crazy spot to play. They really don't expect you here, and you can really just kind of pop out and get them. Sometimes you'll see me playing deep over here. This is nice because you've got really good access to this gunfight, but then also you can just pop up. You don't have to come all the way off the ladder, but you can just look. That's nice. And then the other place that I like to play is, and especially for a rotate, is stairs is a good default. You can just barely peek and just look. Are they peeking? Are they pushing yet? And then you want to be kind of ready for this, but this board makes it kind of delicate. You can usually hear them like getting ready. So this is not a bad spot. I mean, obviously they all have trade-offs and situational. And then the last one I'll mention, I'm sure you've seen me use this before. This is my favorite spot, Ninja. People don't check this very often. Now you got to be kind of careful because technically what can happen is someone can come around over here and they can see you through that little crack there. So when you play there, you want to play just a little bit forward. You don't want to be all the way in the corner. You want to be just a little slightly forward. And then what I like to do is sometimes I'll try to come out and get the clip after they plant, but usually just when I hear them kind of mucking around and getting ready to plant, I'll come out and try and there'll be like a group of 3 of them. That's what I like for A. The other thing I'll mention is this is a good grenade to practice, if you don't already know it. Just off the wall there, in a way that it's going to bounce it in this general area. That's a nice one. That's a nice spot to smoke. What else? One other thing I'll mention. This is a good spot too. A lot of times people don't check this. It's kind of situational because if somebody comes from jungle over there, you're in big trouble. But this is not a bad spot. Let's see. So that's from CT side. Let's just stay with CT side for now. We'll go over to B, and then we'll come back here to talk about the other site. Okay. So, since we're right here, let's talk about T side B. This is obviously a pretty common way that you're going to go. From right about here, yeah, I usually play ticket and just get smoked out. And if I move forward, just get exposed. Couple good spots there. I think I remember I do see you do that with Ninja. If you start from here, this is where you want to start walking, right at the end of these stairs. If they're listening carefully, this is where they'll be able to hear you from. Hard to get people to do that. Usually people run to around here. So almost always on this side, people are going to know you're coming. So a lot of times I don't even try to walk. I'll just rush the site. A couple different ways to rush the site. One thing I'll mention is if you don't think anybody is van, running all the way out van, it's not horrible. Gives you okay positioning. There's a specific way, I don't know if you noticed, there's a specific way I'm running here, though. When I come through here, I even just kind of do it instinctively there. Go all the way over when you're running. Why? Because there might be somebody like right here that if you're at the window, they're going to be able to see you. And if you're farther back, they're not. And even here, it's just more of your body exposed the closer you are to that window. So it seems like a small detail, and it is a small detail, but that's one little tactical tip I'll give you there. One little detail I would say try and stay to this side of the room. Now the place where that's not true, where that's an exception, is I do like to come out here. You'll see me a lot of times. I'm checking it through this window as I go. If I can get a kill here, and come right out, and either onto site. Or another good spot is there's a little lip here that you can hide in. This is a very interesting spot that you can play because they can't see you from sight. You got one over here as well, but you're kind of exposed from that side. There's another interesting lip over on this side when you're playing from CT. Somebody did join. There's another interesting lip when you're playing from CT. I like this one right here. Okay, let's not talk about that, though. Is there anything else from T-side over here that we want to talk about? Probably a couple things at least. I always find this to just be a very hard site to hit. I don't go this way by default. This is a tough gunfight to me. You got stuff like this. You know, you got this lip here that's going to catch the grenades and stuff. They've got a lot of places they can hide. This is just it's a real death trap, honestly. Obviously it's possible to do, you can smoke it and stuff, but I don't have a lot of specific tips around like where to throw the smokes and stuff like that just to take this by default, other than like I don't really like going this way that much. This is one of my least favorite ways to go on Mirage. So let me show you what some of my favorite ways to go on Mirage are, especially from T-side. It's kind of a unique map, actually, in the kind of plays that you can do. These are all old CS strats that I don't see people doing very often, but they actually work really well if you get the team to do them, which obviously on a league team that's way easier than just a pug. But so one that's my favorite is called Around the World. That's probably my... Oh, no. That's probably my favorite strat in general for Mirage. So give me just a second. We'll do the Around the World strat here. Right after we load back in. Hey, Lucky. Welcome, welcome. Is this game worth buying in 2024? Like, is it dead? I want a good VR shooter that doesn't have, like, a dead player base. But it looks like Pavlov has the highest player base. Welcome, Lucky. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, it's a valid concern you have there. I would say it's, if you ever watched Monty Python, it's not quite dead yet, as they say. But it's definitely it's injured. It's injured. It's not dead, but it's mortally wounded. I love this game. I play it all the time. It's still one of my favorite games of all time. But the community is definitely at a point where I don't think it's the smallest it's ever been, but it's a pretty significant dip right now. So you can still find games for sure, depending on the game mode. There's still a pretty dedicated community that plays, but it is pretty small. It does to some degree come down to the time of day that you're playing, especially for certain game modes. So do with that what you will. Like Chonky said, there's Contractors. That's also a good option. I have that as well. It's a fun game. And it also has cool mods and stuff. Personally, I like Pavlov a little bit more, even though it does have the community issues. But Contractors also very fun. Probably a better option in some ways. Would Contractors be more populated? Yes, Contractors is much more populated because it has crossplay with the Quest. So the Quest player base has a much larger player base than the PC player base. I should say that as well, by the way. This is the PC version of Pavlov. If you're talking about the Quest version of Pavlov, that actually does still have a pretty big community. It's called Pavlov Shack, but it's a slightly different game than this. But Contractors, on the other hand, is crossplay between Quest and PC. So that's essentially why it has a big community, and this game doesn't. Did I miss anything else here? Usually take it, but don't call me Chonky. Well, that is literally your name. Uh... Okay, hold on. The around the world strat. The around the world strat. For, let's see. B feels like a site where CT just hide behind the site, store bench, make connector, and peek out when planting. It's hard to clear quickly and has many entrances for CT, but not for T. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to teach you all the tricks here. We just covered the default way there, but I'm going to teach you the ways that I actually like to go here. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to teach you all my tricks here. All right. So, first of all, around the world. Legit one of my favorite strats, okay? But again, it's hard to get people to do because it's kind of elaborate. So, okay. So, around the world is you start from T, all right? This is we're playing from T side. We're planting. Instead of going down the death trap, okay, you come this way. This, I assume you can climb. You obviously got to check as you're going around here. This is a scary strat. You come up here, okay? Blam. You come through here. Then you come through here. Oh, shit, what's this? Now you're bringing out the bomb. You're planting, you're shooting, who's here, who's here. They don't expect you to be coming from this direction. That is honestly one of my favorite strats. I really like doing that. Let's see. That's not the only one, obviously. You can also play Cat here, which I'm not a huge fan of. But that exists as an option. Go straight down Cat. Mid can be okay. I tend to avoid mid on T side, but it can work. You could also do the around the world strat where you come in through here. But usually what I do is, honestly, I do more like A and like weird crazy strats and until they just leave B. And I'm usually only coming this way when I think there's not really going to be anybody here. And a lot of times you'll even see them just straight up turn around. Okay, cool. So I think we got most of this covered in a way that we've talked about it at least. Let's see. So B feels like a site where CT just hides behind site, store bench, mid connector, and they peek out when planting. It's hard to clear quickly, has many entrances. Okay, so yeah, so that would be my first tip, is if you come in from that way, it's easier to clear. Another tip I would have is a good spot to plant. I like to come in right here. I like to come in right here to plant. So for example, I might come like out the window and jump down if I've got the bomb and come to here. And if you start planting from here, it's pretty tough for them unless they've got somebody down there, because you got to think about they've got to either come out of the window, or if they've got somebody back here, they've got to send them over and around. And then once you've got it typed in, you've got a couple spots you could plant here, which I actually like planting here because then you can watch it from down there, or you can run across and plant here too. But this is risky. I've died many times like this actually, where I get it planted and I want to get this plant where you can see it from the window. Now this plant is nice. If you could plant it here and then get back up here, this gives you a really nice spot to defend from. Really, really nice. And then you can come up, right? Another nice spot to plant that I like is here. It kind of sets up a weird angle for you, where you can defend it from here. It's just another option if you want to play it from there. Obviously, like bench, that exists. You check that. Let's talk about from CT side how to defend this site, and that'll give you a good idea of how to clear it too. So, I actually don't like market that much for defense. I don't play from all the way back in market very much. In CS I did, but the thing is, in CS you can just line your cursor up, you know what I mean, and just hold a spot. It's a lot harder to do in Pavlov. You think about trying to make that shot as they're running across. I've almost never made that headshot. It's a really, really hard shot to make if they're just running. So what I'm more likely to do is to play up on site. Now you said bench. Bench is fine. People know to check it though. So you might get a nade or something. I really like this spot. This spot's really nice. You know, if they push out, you've got the corner to play here. You can see everything that's going on. If they drop down and go into the site, you're already on the site. This is one of the defaults for me. I'll also sometimes still go back and play, you know, stuff like this. Or I said earlier, this little lip right here. But I have a tendency of playing a little bit further into the site that way. Alright, I think we got one more thing to cover here. We got to talk about T-side A, right? I think that's our last thing here. Okay. You know about this, right? I'm sure you know about this. I don't use it that often, but every once in a while it comes in handy. So if you rush this, you're going to see somebody running across there pretty often. So that's like not a bad spot to try to get a pick. Also, though, this is like a grenade magnet. It's like that spot I was talking about earlier where people trying to bounce nades right here. So proceed at your peril. A lot of times I'll come out here and I'll try to get like a pick or two right there. But unless I'm playing against kind of a new team, it's pretty rare for me to push all the way up. Unless I'm playing just like really, really aggressive, because there's so many places they can be from here. What I like to do instead, I do like Palace, even though it, you know, it has challenges of its own. We'll talk about that real quick. I almost always go Palace's T and peek for stairs and drop down. Going for pit feels... That pit feels completely like walking into an exposed place. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The thing is, you know, there's a lot of guns trained on Palace too, right? So it's like, it's always risky. I like a smoke for here. I like, if I can, I even like two smokes, where I like to do one here and one down there. But yeah, you got pretty much the right idea there. It's you know, it's just a gunfight here. It's just a gunfight. The only other thing, and I'm sure you've experienced this plenty of times, you got to watch out for this guy. You got to watch out for this guy. Just trying to go for the headshot there. Okay, so those are actually not my favorites, though. Those are actually not my favorites. So what I prefer to do... What I prefer to do, if I can get away with it, is do something somewhat similar to the Around the World strat. I really like going underpass. Probably my favorite area on Mirage. It's kind of like a PowerPoint on the map. This is a nice thing we should talk about too, by the way. If you got somebody chasing you, this is a good spot to hide. Other way, this is a good spot. You know, if you think they're up there and they think that you're here, the grenade's gonna get you here, but at least you're hidden. They don't know. So anyway, so I like to go this way. And then for A, you can come up through connector. This is fine. Connector's fine. Sometimes I do it this way. You come right in here. A lot of times you can get a pick here. And now you're playing stairs, which is a pretty good spot. Oh, he put his hands up. Now I feel bad. And then, of course, there's, you know, now you're playing from here. You got a lot of stuff you can check out. But what I like even better, actually, is coming out of underpass and coming up this way. And so now you've got jungle. That's a really good option, right? Or now, this is the one time I do like playing ticket. You know, you've got to judge how quickly and quietly you can get down here. But coming up on this flank, ooh. Now that's something I like here. That's something I like here. Coming up on this flank is T. That's pretty golden because a lot of times you're gonna, first of all, the guy's even in Ninja, you're gonna have the eyes on him there. But a lot of times you just got somebody standing here, standing here. So yeah, that's most of my Mirage knowledge there. I feel like that pretty much covers this stuff I know. Feel free to throw any questions out, but that's hopefully something in there was useful.